A new poll conducted in conjunction with the Associated Press finds former President Trump's criminal indictment on federal charges minimally impacted his popularity among Republicans. The research found 60% of Republicans still have a favorable view of Trump. That is down from 68% in April. However, the poll also showed 38% of Republicans now have an unfavorable view of Trump. That is up from 30% about 2 months ago. As you'll recall, the former president pleaded not guilty earlier this month to dozens of felony counts related to keeping classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. The polling showed more than half of Americans believe he broke the law.
Meantime, all the 2024 presidential candidates are laser focused on fundraising before the end of this quarter. Ed O'Keefe is joining us now from the White House to give us some insight into those efforts. Yeah, because, these presidential races are always expensive, but they've gotten a lot more expensive, and they need some big money donors. President Biden is ramping up his fundraising efforts. Do we have any sense of how that's going?
We do, Anne-Marie. Good to see you guys. Just got some fresh details from the Biden-Harris re-election campaign. He is headlining 2 fundraisers there in Manhattan later today. If I were you guys, I would walk or take the subway because he might tie up traffic as he attends 2 more fundraisers in person there in New York. That is for a total of 5 this week. He did another in Chicago yesterday, 2 in the suburbs of D.C. earlier this week as well, all part of a push to hold 20 of these more formal events with big dollar donors throughout the month ahead of Friday's end of month and, more importantly, end of quarter fundraising deadline. You may have noticed, or maybe not, we noticed that there have been far fewer sort of campaign-style events held by Democrats and Republicans in the last few weeks. And that's because all of them, essentially, have been putting their time towards fundraising behind closed doors with donors across the country. Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, all of them have been doing this as well on the Republican side because they know they've got to hit some good numbers ahead of Friday. But the Biden-Harris re-election campaign, again, telling us 20 fundraisers this month. They will not reveal how much has been raised until they have to file paperwork for the Federal Election Commission next month. The other thing to watch for today, and this isn't designed to promote this or encourage you, but it's a sign more than anything of how they're trying to boost enthusiasm and donations ahead of that Friday deadline. Expect at some point to see a fundraising appeal made by the current president and his old boss, Barack Obama, later today to the wide network of Democratic money donors across the country. That is part of a push to get maybe those that give just like $5 or $25 to the party to turn in some cash ahead of the quarter.
So you talked about Democrats. What are the strategies we're seeing from Republican candidates right now when it comes to fundraising?
Part of what they're trying to do, especially if you're someone not named Donald Trump, is to meet a very specific requirement for the first debate that's being held in August. I think we have this to show you on screen. Part of the rules require that you have at least 45,000 or 40,000 unique donors across the country, and you got to find at least 200 from 20 distinct states. Then you got to get at least 1% in 3 qualifying polls after July 1st. Fine. But the first 2 right now are the big focus because you want to be able to show, and this is what the party's hoping for, that you have an ability to raise money from a cross-section of people. This is why you've heard guys like Chris Christie, Will Hurd, Asa Hutchinson, the lesser-known guys who spend a lot of time, frankly, on free earned media like this platform, encouraging people to go to their website and donate just $1, they say. Because if you do that, you help them hit the 40,000 mark. And you may be helping them hit the 200 from 20 distinct states mark. Donald Trump's not going to have that problem. Ron DeSantis probably isn't going to have that problem. Tim Scott probably won't have that problem because they have organized, cultivated fundraising networks across the country. It's a lot of these other guys, though, that if they want to get a spot on stage, they got to work on that. And that's why they announce, they do a few interviews, they might do a quick visit to New Hampshire, Iowa, and then they seem to disappear for a few days. And it's because they're off raising money and dialing for dollars.
All right. Ed O'Keefe for us at the White House. Ed, thank you very much, my friend.
Take care, guys.